Hello, I'm Thomas R. Dickens, the director and producer for Aliens Zone X, previously known as Alien Gray Zone X. I'm really happy today because today arrived my two model kits from Shapeways. And these two model kits are based directly on the CGI models actually used in the film Aliens Zone X. And there are many different UFOs and spaceships in the film, but these are two of them that I started with as far as turning into model kits. One is one of the triangle ships in the film. It represents a pretty large ship. It's about the size of a 747 jet, and this is one of the large UFO models. There's also a flying saucer ship, which is a little more than half the size of that, of the triangle ship. And what I did is I took the two models and I had to make the CGI models used in the film. I had to make them what's called airtight or watertight. In other words, there couldn't be any leaks in the geometry. It had to be made solid, and it also had to be made in separate pieces because parts of the ships, parts of the UFOs are transparent. They have lights in them. They glow, and other parts are metallic. So I had to make them out of different pieces so that people putting this together could have the transparent parts and have the solid parts of the ship. And so there's a little bit of gluing work that's going to have to be done to put this together, but it's very simple. It's even a young model builder could easily put this together. And so the models arrived today. They did take a while to arrive from Shapeways, so when you order them, they do take a little bit of time. It's like a couple, 2 or 3 weeks, so maybe even more in some cases. So just be prepared for a little bit of wait. You're anxious to get your model, and it's no one wants to wait, but you'll be very happy once it arrives. You can have it cast in many different materials, from a detailed, frosted, transparent, up into, you can even have it printed in metal. You can have it printed in silver, but it's going to cost probably hundreds of dollars for that. So it depends how much you want to see these models printed in different materials. There's also different qualities to the materials. I went with the ultra fine frosted detail materials and the frosted detail materials for the model kits that I had, which I'll show you in just a moment. And I wanted the most detail I could get because some of these can sometimes print a little grainy, like almost like sandpaper, and I wanted it as smooth as possible. There's the triangle UFO with the 7.5-inch wingspan, which is the one I'm going to show you. That one starts at $46.93. And there's the triangle UFO, the 15-inch, that's the largest one, which is starting at $364.94. So the reason that the cost on these is somewhat high is really up to Shapeway. They're on a limited basis run, and they have to, there's materials, I suppose, packaging and preparation of the models. So if they were produced more in bulk, we could probably figure a way to bring the cost down. I may end up, depending on how they move, I may end up making castings of these and selling them made of resin for cheaper. There's also what I call the organic UFO, organic flying saucer. The reason it's organic is organically shaped. There's other ones that are more mechanically shaped, but there's one it's looking like all one solid piece. This one is more reminiscent of kind of like a UFO look, a little bit from the 1950s sci-fi movies, like The Day the Earth Stood Still, with the solid looking one-piece ship. And this one is built to the same size representation to each other with the triangle ship, and so they relate to each other. And all the ships that I will be making model kits of will be to the same scale of each other, except for when it comes to the mothership, because the mothership is about a mile or so across, so it would be as big as a room compared to the other ones. So that one I'm going to have to figure something out for, but I haven't made that into a kit yet. Anyway, the organic flying saucer comes in starting at 3.5-inch diameter, which is the model I'm going to show you. It relates directly to the same scale as the triangle ship. And the saucer UFO is the largest one is 7-inch. That one starts at $39.17. The 3.5 inch starts at $7.52. So you can get the flying saucer a lot cheaper than the triangle. The triangle has much more parts to it. It's more complicated to print, and it's larger, taking up more materials. So therefore that one costs more. But the flying saucer is pretty reasonable. Anyway, without further ado, I'd like to show you these models, and I'd like to show them to myself. I haven't really fully dived into the box yet. But here's the box as to how it arrived from Shapeways. All I did is open the top of it. There's some bubble wrap inside. As you can see, they have some larger bubble wrap. Be careful because you don't want to break the model. It's somewhat loosely packed from Shapeways. There's also the smaller bubble wrap. And you have to be a little bit careful because there's actually a loose piece in the bubble wrap that was sent from Shapeways. So be careful that you don't just throw that away. There's actually a piece in here, which I'm going to show you in a minute. It's the stand for the triangle UFO. Anyway, let's start with the organic UFO model kit. This one is the flying saucer, and it looks beautiful to me already. This is amazing. It comes in a plastic bag. There's several pieces to this one as well, and so be careful you don't lose them. The model is this transparent frosted detail, as they call it. It has some kind of solution on it. I'm not sure if that's a cleansing solution or what it is, but here's the actual UFO, and it looks transparent. I hope you can see the detail on it. It looks really nice. It's really amazing to be holding this in my hand. Although I must say it isn't 100% perfect. There's a little bit of the detailing missing on the edge a little bit here and there. And as far as what looks like a goopy material in the middle, this model is hollow, and they print it in layers. So some of the material's inside, but when you paint it, you'll never see that. This is going to be painted as a metallic. In the film, it's kind of like almost like a pewter. It's like a shiny pewter material that it appears to be made of, or even like a chrome. So this one could be painted metallic. There's also a small piece here that attaches to the stand, and you would want to attach this to the stand with some glue. As a matter of fact, I thought it was supposed to come together. This may have broken off in the box. And the reason that this is happening is because actually this is a very small model with very thin proportions. In the film, it's a gigantic ship. So when it's reduced in size, it gets very thin at the edge at this scale. The larger scale model, I'm assuming, would be a little bit more rugged than this one and wouldn't have these problems of it. Looks like this is possibly separated piece from the base. So you'd probably want to glue this thing back on with some super glue. But this is just a base. It's a triangular type base with a little holder on it, and you can set your UFO down on top of that to display it on a desk. And it fits in there perfectly. This little tray that it would sit on was built actually to perfectly fit the UFO. So I'm not sure how much detail I can get on this camera. Here's part of the little base, which I'm going to set aside here, and here's the triangular piece that's representing pretty much how it would stand on the base. And here's the actual UFO, which is I love this shape. It's kind of got a domed top. It's got a dome bottom as well. It's very smooth. It's got a little bit of a indentation along here, a little lip that's kind of organic and smooth. It looks like the way they printed it, like it's concentric lines, which is okay. It leaves a little bit of a warbly edge, which I'm not 100% satisfied with, but it's got such an almost knife-thin edge that this is the way the printer is going to work on something of this size. The detail's pretty good, though, considering. I would hope that the largest scale one would even be better than this. But it's fun to have this little disc in my hand right now, which was directly from the CGI model. Now I'm going to show you the triangle ship. First I'll show you, this was the stand, quite a bit bigger than for the other model. Like I said, this this UFO is about twice the size of the saucer ship in the film. It's a large UFO. It's about a little bigger than a 747 jet. So this one has transparent pieces that would glow, and you could put LEDs in this model kit and have it light up. And it's also got the solid body. Now here would be something, the body you'd probably want to paint in a metallic color. It's kind of like, again, like a dark pewter. It's very nice to be holding this in my hand right now. There's holes in the bottom. That's to put other pieces in. And it's got separate pieces. This is kind of like the front element, which would have to be glued on to the model. And that would be glued onto the front here. It's going to take a little bit of prep work because this is sort of flexible. If you can see that, it opens up. So you're going to have to open it up a little, put your glue on there, and then glue it and let it dry. This front section should fit exactly flush to the front of this part of the model. And it does fit. You just have to open it up a little bit here, and you have to glue it on with probably some super glue and attach that in place. And this is pretty thin. It's it ended up a very thin piece of material here. Then we've also got this bottom section of the craft, which is going to fit right on the bottom here. And again, this would have to be glued in place. It is a model kit. It doesn't come pre-assembled. And again, the reasons for that is that different materials. So this, you might want to paint in a slightly different metallic color. If you see it in the film, parts are chrome and parts are different materials. Here are the wing tips. There's 3 wing tips, 1 for either side, which are attached here on the end. So it's pretty sharp. It's got a sharp point. So actually be careful with that. It's almost to a knife point there. So be careful you wouldn't poke yourself with that in the eye or something. And then this is going to be the tail fin, which fits on the back end like this. So you're going to glue this model kit, and then what you could do is run some LEDs and have this actually glow. And these end pieces are going to be an orange color. The front piece here is like a purple, and it's going to glow. So you could run purple or glowing LEDs into these and then paint the body solid, and it would probably look pretty cool lit up in a room. This is going on the other wing tip. So I'm going to have to glue this together and show you it glued together. There's also 3 more pieces. These are little discs, which in the film are very bright, almost spotlights. So these would be attached to this ring. These 3 discs can be attached to the ring. And you'll have to take a look at the film and how they're arranged as to exactly how they sit. They are made to fit on this, but because of the flexible material that this is printed in and because of the variations in the model, you're going to have to play with it a little bit to get it to fit perfectly. And I made little holes in here that you could run LEDs through if you want to light this model up, which is what I intend to do, time permitting. So those are the 2 models. I think the best way to show it from now on is to show it all glued together. I'm also interested to see what the larger models look like. My assumption is that they'll probably look better later. But in the meanwhile, these are pretty cool. These are the first printings directly from the ships in the film, and they'll probably be pretty rare to have for any model enthusiast. I would recommend these models. And should the film do as well as we hope, then they'll really be something that will be for collectors. So thank you, and we'll have more soon. Thanks.